So I've got really an interesting blend. Now, you may be familiar with the name Rick Lavoie.
Yeah.
Okay. Rick Lavoie is a relatively well-known, not relatively, he's a well-known educator, specifically in the realm of special ed. 2 years ago, I had the distinct pleasure of listening to a full-day workshop that Rick presented on behalf of principals at the Torah Masorah Convention. And there were a number of things that he said that really resonated with me. But one that I'd like to share with you for the moment is that he said that special education is just good education. Have you ever heard that before from him? He uses the example of the ADA, which is the Americans with Disabilities Act. You're familiar probably with a number of laws that went into effect in any public building. There need to be certain accommodations for people with disabilities, such as bathrooms that have the capacity for handicap persons to be able to access, special doorways that you can push a button to get in, et cetera, et cetera. Every entranceway has to have a ramp or some type of capacity for people with physical disability. Now, he said even though the ADA was designed to help people with disabilities, it really helps everybody. So, for example, if you're driving your stroller, if you're driving your bike to work, I suppose, but if you're pushing a stroller on Shabbos or any other time during the week, and you are getting to the corner, where are you going to push the stroller? You're going to push it up the little corner cut that every corner has now, or has to have over time as they redo them, because it's just easier to go up. You walk into a public building and your hands are full of groceries or bags, and you can, like you just indicated, or you're going to an airport and you get all this stuff, and you can just give a little nudge to the button and the door opens for you. So the ADA helps everybody, even though it's designed to only help a few people. Is it worth it? Is it not worth it? Not our conversation. But it's certainly something that everybody benefits from. And therefore he says that special education, which is not really our topic, but specializing, being sensitive, providing opportunities for different types of learners isn't only going to help the quote, one or two, there are more than that, but the one or two, let's call it variant learners within your classroom, but it's going to help everybody, okay? When we experience the learning, we typically remember it better, we typically understand it more clearly, so I think everybody's going to gain, hopefully, from this process and from this experience. And I think as we prepare it, it actually becomes more fun, right? A class that has more attention to modalities tends to be more interesting. And I know that preparation is hard, especially if you're new. You've got a lot of material to understand and prepare and to master. Sometimes it's easier. How many of you are in the first, let's say, 3 years of teaching? Okay, so for those of you who are in that category, the advantage you have is you're kind of preparing as you go. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel on your own side of it. If you've been teaching for 15 or 20 years and you've got, reams and reams of materials that you've created, and they're all designed primarily for the visual verbal learner, because it's all worksheets with conventional questions and text and whatnot, then you're going to have to reconceive a lot of what you've done if you're going to really analyze this and utilize it in a more expansive type of way. But either way, even if it's just a little bit, in my mind, it's the more the merrier, and everybody wins.